So I finally got a chance to take the Henry Homesteader out to the range, and I wanted to put together a quick little, first range trip review of the Homesteader and how it performed for you. So the first thing that I really enjoyed was right out of the box, the sights were almost dead on. I did zero them in a little bit more precise later, but I was able to hit an 8-inch steel gong right off the bat at 50 yards first shot. And then I was even able to step back to 100 yards offhand and hit it almost every single time. Once I got the sights dialed in, I just had to move them a little bit left. I didn't have to mess with elevation at all. It was dead freaking on. And I'm not saying your Homesteader's gonna be like that, but mine was basically zeroed right out of the box, which is always nice. As far as function and reliability, I used a mixed bag of 9mm full metal jacket ammo. All of it was 115 grain. I used Privy Partisan Remington UMC, Winchester White Box, Blazer Brass, and I think like 2 other brands, all mixed and matched together, which I think makes for a really good test. And then as far as magazines, I didn't use the factory Henry magazines. I'm sure they work fine, but I went ahead and swapped in the Glock Magwell conversion, and I used Glock 33 round stick mags. I used Glock 19X 19 plus 1 round mags, the 17 round mags, and I used even some older like Gen 3 Glock 19 15 round mags, and also a couple of Magpul mags. There were no issues seating the magazines, dropping the magazines, functioning from the magazines, no issues whatsoever. I think Henry did a really good job with that Glock Magwell. So in terms of overall reliability, we had 0 failures to fire, 0 failures to feed. It functioned perfectly, except for one little thing, and that is that the Henry Homesteader is supposed to have a last shot bolt hold open feature. So when you fire your last shot, the bolt is supposed to be locked back to the rear. I didn't always get that. 90% of the time I did, but once in a while I wouldn't. And I think what the problem is weak ammo. So like I said, I had a real mixed bag of pretty weak target ammo. And I think every so often my last round would be one of the weaker ones, and it just wouldn't slam that bolt back quite hard enough, so it wouldn't lock to the rear. So make of that what you will. You could alleviate the issue probably by using just a little bit hotter ammo and just not using the ultra cheap stuff like I was using, and probably never see the problem. Or you could call it a design flaw that Henry needs to look into. Because honestly speaking, I mean, what are most people going to be shooting through this thing? It's going to be the really cheap bulk 115 grain full metal jacket stuff, which isn't always loaded the hottest. And then one other issue that I encountered twice was something really strange. So on my last shot, it was during these times when I wouldn't get the bolt locked back to the rear on that last shot. I would fire the last shot, flip the safety, and I'll roll in a clip of this, flip the safety from fire back to safe, and the bolt would be forward, and then I couldn't pull the bolt back. I wasn't able to. And what had happened was, after the last shot and putting it on safe, that hammer inside the trigger group was in the up position, and being on safe, the trigger group wouldn't let it go back down. So what I had to do is pop the pins out of the receiver, drop the trigger group out, then I could put it back on fire and then put that hammer back down into the locked position. For some reason, when the gun was together out on the range after firing it like that, once I put it on safe, I couldn't pop it back into fire again. I don't know what that is. I thought that was really strange. And then I tried to recreate the issue later on, and I was able to put it back on fire and then pull the bolt back. So I don't know what's going on there. We're going to wring that out more in future testing, putting a lot more rounds through it. There's probably more to that story, but it might be something Henry needs to look into. And then in terms of accuracy, again, I didn't do any actual accuracy testing. I did put up a paper target and adjusted the sight slightly to get it just dialed right in. But the sights on the Homesteader are a bit rugged. It's a very large ghost ring type rear sight. The sight radius is very short. Both sights are on the barrel. Later on, I do have a Picatinny rail that I'm going to mount on it, and I've got a red dot that I'll put on it, and then we'll do some real in-depth accuracy testing to see just how tight this thing can get the bullets to go. And then in terms of handling, I love how the Homesteader feels on the range. It's just a nice, hefty, well-built feeling gun. At least to me, that's my opinion. Your mileage may vary. I like how it's a little bit heavy. I like how the barrel's not just pencil thin. It feels substantial. It makes it a real joy to shoot. and the ergonomics are absolutely fantastic, at least for me. The old school style wood stocks, it just feels great. It just points perfectly, makes it easy to hit the target. So overall, I had a really great time, a really great first range session with the Henry Homesteader. I really enjoyed shooting it. A few minor issues, which I don't know, maybe they were me. We'll see what happens. I'll let you know in the future, and I'll be doing a much more in-depth full-on range review on the Homesteader when I get the time and opportunity. But for now, I just wanted to give you a quick report on how it performed on its first trip to the range. So let me know what you think. Let me know what questions you have in the comments. If you've got a Homesteader and you've been able to put a few more rounds through it than I have, a couple thousand or whatever, what's your experience been? Let people know in the comments. Let me know. Let me know what questions you guys have so that I can address those next time I go out to shoot. Hey, thanks for watching, and
check out my leather shop if you'd like something handmade by me just for you. The link is in the pinned comment. I'd love to make you something. Thanks for watching.